Secondly, my focus is the teacher who work in a classroom where students are not especially gifted and do not, and many of them do not have special needs. So students who are in the middle of the achievement scale. The third aspect is, maybe I minimize this. So the third aspect is almost trivial. I would like to have teachers who needed help, who are willing to change but could not try to change without the support, who have a strong teaching routine. Therefore, the easiest way is to teach and follow his routine, and it is hard to break out. Therefore, it is important for me to minimize the needed effort for this change. The last aspect is that I would like to have teachers who mainly apply frontal instructions and teaches in a teacher-centered way. As far as I know, this is really common in Hungary. Okay, now I hope you have an idea about the teacher, but what kind of help could be useful for them? I would like to offer a method which fits the teacher and help them to adopt it to their classes. I have taken a long journey and I arrived to a certain kind of cooperative method, a structured pair work called Sage and Scribe method. In the Sage and Scribe methods, students work in pairs with a single pen. For the first task, the Sage tells the Scribe how to solve the problem, and the Scribe records the work. The names come from ancient Egypt. The Sage is the wise man, and the Scribe is somebody who can write, and it is his job. Students switch roles often. It is the duty of the Scribe to help or correct the Sage when it is needed, but he must not take over his or her role. During the experiment, teachers have asked to switch their daily applied individual work to structured type work and leave anything else unchanged. And I really mean the nothing else part of it. It was one of the most difficult to communicate to the teachers that I asked them not to change anything else. So they should use the same lesson plan, the same instructions, the same tasks, and even the same time management. Okay, but what benefit could this little change bring to the life of the class? Or is it a little change? The Sage and Scribe method is useful for students who always work alone in mathematical tasks and rarely participate actively in classroom discussions. It would help to think aloud in front of a classmate. It also may prevent two individual students working next to each other, or one of the students copying the other. The Sage and Scribe structure can balance the work, create situations when students get to know each other's thoughts and got reactions to theirs. It is also useful that students' thoughts become hearable for the teacher who goes around the classes. The teacher becomes inspired by the students. Therefore, he or she is able to be more student-centered. Students became more active, less bored, and hopefully the atmosphere of the classes also increases. We made 11 pre-experiments to get to know the method more. This insight have lightened that in the beginning it is useful if the topic is algebra or something where the task can break into small steps. So not like combinatorics. We also think that if the student's age is 13 to 16 is probably the best. We learned lots of other things also. Then we had a 2 months long main experiment. The students were 15 years old, hardworking. They had good grades, but they were not specially gifted. The students' focus was history and literature. There were 16 members in a class. We collect data through questionnaires and interviews with students and the teacher. We observed every lesson and took audio recordings from each pair. The analysis is still in progress, but I can present some aspect of it. We are identifying the mathematical significant opportunities to build on students' thinking according to Letman et al. The method has 6 questions built on each other to identify the most moments, which are both relevant to the students, relevant as the current goal to understand, and needed the teacher assistance. We plan to analyze these moments in order to find the general rule which help the teacher to recognize these moments and use them within the Sage and Scribe method. We also would like to identify regulating and key activities according to Decker et al. They had 4 key activities, which is when students show, explain, justify, or reconstruct their work. And 3 regulating activities, when students ask each other to show, to ask, so the emphasis is on the ask each other to show, to explain their work, or when students criticize each other's work. Our hypothesis that both of the activities appear during the pair work, and its frequency is increasing as the weeks passes. We also know from the interviews that students left the Sage and Scribe methods role after some lessons, so they work just like a pair. We are wondering how does it influence the 2 aspects described before.
It would be 1 more minute, but if you take some more time, it's okay.
Okay, thank you. The third focus is the long-term effect of the classroom discussion. We would like to examine if the increased interaction between students have any effect on the dynamic of the classroom discussion. Now I probably won't have time to discuss my results, but I can say that they are really promising. So I skipped the questionnaires. I can say that the teacher liked it very much. She thinks that it's motivating the students to pay attention during the frontal part of the lesson, so that they can solve the task in front of the other students when they will arrive to the pair work time. So she said that it would be useful if the Sage could also write, especially when they have just 1 or 2 exercises to solve in a pair. But when the lesson is for practice, it is useful if just 1 of them is writing. And she emphasized that mixing the pairs is very important, and it did not slow the lessons. So thank you for your attention and your patience for me and my baby. and I'm really looking forward. What do you think about my research?
Thank you very much. And from my side, a huge applause how you handle with your baby. I'm also a mother, and I have the greatest respect for you. And I think it was really interesting research. So I give the word to the group. Questions, comments. We can have the discussion.
I really enjoyed the presentation and the baby as well. I am about 6 months pregnant and I imagine a teacher. So it's really interesting. Thank you. Thank you. Esther?
Yes, Esther.
Is it? Yeah, thanks very much.
So anyone else, or otherwise I would have a question to Esther. So this your research, you did this already, and you're now in the phases of analyzation, I understood. So for how long was this project going?
So I am in the 3rd year. The first year was finding the method. The 2nd year was the 11th pre-experiment. And then in the 3rd year, the beginning of it, I made a 2 months long main experiment. So it was 2 months. And it was not in one class, but now I just present one. It was in 2, but the second I couldn't make all audio recordings. So it was not that documented.
And what did you experience? Because for me, interesting was that it was hard to tell teachers to not change anything and use it in the same way. What experience did you have with cooperation with teachers?
That they were happy that they have a chance to change. They wanted, but alone they couldn't force themselves to try something. And when I appeared in the classroom, they feel that, okay, I have to change everything. I have to be very innovative. And they used more individual work in pair works than they used to. So the students felt lonely because they didn't get as much help from the teacher as they used to. So I realized that I have to say the teachers that they have to change just the individual work to pair work, because otherwise the students feel lonely and they wouldn't get the support.
Okay, but I think it's really progression to change the individual work to pair work, and they go to this collaboration space. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for this nice presentation. I saw that Ebru is now in the room. She had difficulties joining. Ebru, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
So this on our schedule, you would be the second presenter. Esther, she was so nice and flexible to switch for the first presenter. If it's okay for the group, I would suggest Ebru to do your presentation now.
Thank you.
You can share your screen.
Okay.
And welcome.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Ebru Büşra Yılmaz. I am PhD student at Ankara University in Turkey, and also I'm research assistant at Samsun University in Turkey. This is my research proposal. investigation of mathematics teachers' experience of preparing STEM-based lesson plans and implementation in online education.
Yes, I think, Ibro, your screen hasn't shared yet, so maybe you can restart sharing.
Okay. Is it okay?
Yes, now it works.
Yes, thank you.
My research proposal is investigation of mathematics teachers' experience of preparing STEM-based lesson plans and implementation in online education. My contents, firstly, introduction, second, STEM education, then 5E model, and I give you information about my methodology. Introduction, students must have some mathematical knowledge and skills in order to be successful in their education and business life in the 21st century. For this reason, it is important for research to adopt the STEM education approach in order to develop the skilled students. STEM education is a new approach that mostly focuses on technology and engineering disciplines, including 4 different fields of knowledge. This is components of STEM education: science, mathematics, engineering, and technology. STEM learning environment is the engineering design is used by students to design possible solutions. Math concepts are overtly integrated as a tool to express, calculate, and analyze data. Scientific principles are used in the problem-solving process. Technologies are used as STEM professionals use them. Example to measure, record, analyze, synthesize, and present data. Technologies are used to keep use globally connected. As you know, 5E model first behaves engage. Student interest is piqued. Students make connections with prior experience and understanding is connected. Second phase, explore. Students explore the concept through hands-on activities, identify real questions, develop a hypothesis and test variables, then explain. The direct instruction is perhaps presented in a collaborative fashion. Vocabulary is defined, concepts are explained. Then elaborate. Generalizations about the new learning in applied to previous investigation and new hypotheses are tested to draw conclusions. Last phase, evaluate. Students evaluate their own learning and prove what they know in writing, conversation, and demonstrations. My research proposal in this context, it is especially important that teachers have sufficient experience and competence in STEM education that supports the training of generations with the qualifications needed today and in the future. Today, the education process is carried out online, and it is thought that it can be continued in this way in the future. Therefore, this study aims to examine elementary mathematics teachers' experience of preparing STEM-based lesson plans and implementing them in the online education. For this purpose, it is planned for elementary mathematics teachers to prepare a STEM-based lesson plan in accordance with the 5E model and to implement their lesson plans in the online education environment. The methodology in the research, the case study design, a quality research model will be used. The research group consists of 4 elementary mathematics teachers in Turkey. The research data were obtained from the task forms, the peer assessment form, the self-assessment forms, semi-structured interview forms, the lesson plans prepared by the teachers, and video recording of the implementation of the lesson plans in online education environment. The data collection process of the research, it will be carried out in the 3 stages. The 1 stage, preparing a STEM-based lesson plan for the mathematics lesson. The 2nd stage, implementation the lesson plans they prepared in the online education environment. And last, taking the opinions of the teachers about their experience after the implementation. The analysis of qualitative data obtained from the research will be done by the content analysis method. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you, Ebru, for your presentation. Everybody can ask questions now or post the questions in the chat. For me, it would be interesting to understand the online education environment. What kind of online education environment did the teachers use? Was it Zoom or another platform?
I will prefer to use Zoom. In addition to those, we will use EBA. It's very specific application for Turkish students.
It's like a learning platform, EBA, like they can find material probably, and they can like forums like this, the EBA platform.
It's a model.
No.
It's more like a model.
A model.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry for interrupting. I'm just working for the Ministry of Turkish National Education, and it's what we designed. So,
yes, maybe it would be interesting if you can, if you have some additional information. Because we are also constantly learning during this pandemic situation to improve the online education environment, and then even do good teaching, like Ebru suggested, good lessons plans in the online education environment.
I think EBA is a lovely learning platform. There are courses for teachers and support for students. And it's not only online, we also have a TV version of it if students do not have access to the internet. So it has different parts for different people. So parents have access to it. So there are different sources for parents. There are different sources for students from kindergarten to 12th grade, which is high school in Turkey. We have different sources and courses for teachers as well. So anyone interested in education can actually have access to the platform and get benefit from it. And it's not only for learning purposes. There are also other things that other than the program. For example, there are some songs if you want to learn. There are some English lessons and movies if you want to watch. So different things, but I think it's a quite interesting platform, and it started before the COVID-19, but COVID-19 helped us improve the platform very much.
Thank you. This is very interesting. Irina has another question, please.
Hi. So Ebru, I actually am more interested in details on what were the expectations for the lessons, in which way they are STEM-based, as your topic says, like, are they interdisciplinary, or were students required to integrate technology, and if so, what kind of technology, or bring science applications. So can you please elaborate on this?
It will be interdisciplinary lesson. We will use technology like GeoGebra or different application technological tools. As you see that this is just research proposal.
So I understand you're still on the design phase of the project, so proposal, and it's not
Yes.
done yet.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Esther has a question.
So if I understand that, you just started your project, and is it a PhD project? So what do you plan? How will you evaluate your research if there won't be any distance learning, or you think that the COVID-19 will be long enough to do your research? I'm interested in this because I'm involved in a project which is also have meaning if the COVID-19 will be longer. So I don't know if you understand.
When I my master thesis, I developed evaluation structures for online learning. Now I want to develop another evaluation, develop STEM education in online education with teachers.
Okay, thank you.
So thank you for the presentation and the discussion. I'm watching also the time here, and I would suggest to switch to our next presenter, Axel. I saw he's here, and hello, welcome.
Hello.
If you're ready, we would be very interested in your presentation. You can start.
Okay, yeah, hello. Thanks for having me, and what I'm going to show you now is
maybe you could also introduce yourself with a short 1 or 2 sentences.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I am working in Innsbruck at the University College of Teacher Education Tyrol. My subjects are chemistry and English, and I work here in the Department of Chemistry Education, and with my colleague Sebastian Govet, who sadly cannot be here today due to him having another appointment. We've cooked up an idea about a project where we want to bring together subjects which normally do not collaborate, but in this context, in the context of STEAM, they of course collaborate, and these are the subjects of chemistry, physics, technical and textile education. And yeah, so let me just share my screen. And maybe you can tell me if you can see my presentation right now.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, thanks. Okay, what I'm going to show you is the project VidNet, Video Vignettes in Science, Technology and Textile Education. Me and my colleague Sebastian Govet, we managed to have this project funded by the Erasmus Plus program. And yeah, what is this project? yeah, what's coming under the cover of this project. We've got 3 partners from the field of chemistry, 3 partners from the field of physics, and 3 partners from the field of technology and textile. There is also a digital designer helping us to bring about the outcomes of the project. One partner is concerned with continuous professional development, like teachers in school, teachers professionalizing themselves during their working life. We have got a sociologist, and we've got partners contributing a learning environment. So this might not make sense to you because I've not told you what this project is about. These are our partners from Germany, Italy, Switzerland, Slovakia. And what's all this about? This project is about dealing with learner perceptions in teacher education. The knowledge about conceptions of pupils or their misconceptions and dealing with their previous knowledge is part of the professional knowledge of teachers. And there are many conceptualizations of pedagogical content knowledge, which include learners' perceptions and teaching strategies. Meaning the knowledge of how to professionally explain, represent, and deliver educational content. So how does any given teacher try to transmit some content to their pupils? This is the model of teachers' competence which we are using. This has been derived by Blömecke, Gustafsson, and Scherholzen, which see competence in an approach beyond dichotomies, like how does competence lead to teachers' performance? Competence is modeled as a continuum from dispositions to situation-specific skills leading up to performance in the classroom context. Dispositions of teachers are their cognitions, their professional knowledge of chemistry, physics, technology, and textile. Their affect motivations, what are their beliefs about teaching, and in classroom situations, this knowledge and those beliefs are used to perceive situations, to interpret classroom situations, and to make a decision. This leads up to observable behavior of the teacher. The ability to perceive thus is a part of teachers' expertise, and its promotion is key task in teacher education. And that's why we are here for teacher education in our project. Noticing as professional vision is, first of all, when does noticing become something which we can call professional vision? You can perceive anything. So, but noticing is learning to identify what is noteworthy about a particular situation. For instance, a police officer might perceive the situation differently from a lawyer, and a teacher might perceive the situation different from a parent. Excuse the very bad audio. Our building is new, and there has not been any soundproofing has not yet been added, so it's quite roomy, the sound. Sorry for that. Okay, so the selective attention and knowledge-based reasoning is followed by decision making. Followed by is not quite correct because this happens rather simultaneously. So we've got a 3-step of perception, interpretation, and decision making. And what are we interested in this project is our rather grand research question. Sorry, it's very, very long, which is bad, and it comprises many different things, which is bad as well, but here you are. Our research question is, how can we actually make students of teacher education perceive situations, classroom situations, in a professional way? We are using different education methodologies like transmissive seminars, co-constructive seminars, and we are using this in a asynchronous distance learning or in synchronous distance learning, or they come to our college and take part and are present on location. So how can we enhance their professional vision with respect to pupils' conceptions? What pupils are already thinking about a certain content? So some brief information on our project. It starts in summer 2022, like next week. We are networking in the different subjects with our digital designer, with our sociologist. There are 6 levels within the project, so I'll be getting to that in a short moment. We've got regular on-site meetings, and we've also got regular distance formats like video conferences with demand-oriented content, like research methods, media consulting, course concepts, how to take a video, what is a vignette, how can we construct tasks, and there is input on video shooting and the creation of vignettes, and the implementation of the courses where the vignettes we've been creating will come into play with accompanying evaluation. Let's just not talk about evaluation because Erasmus does not like that. There is the investigation of empirical research questions, like the one I've just shown you. And in the end, our main goal would be to implement those courses in the curricula of the respective universities and colleges of teacher education and make suggestions to other institutions of higher education, whether they like our concept or not. So we will be beginning in June 2021 and hopefully be done in May 2023. What are the outputs? We are creating classroom video vignettes. These are short films of condensed classroom situations. We are establishing certain how-tos. We are developing an e-learning platform, which I'll just be showing you in a minute. And we are building e-learning modules with work packages, plus a best practice guide on how to construct those e-learning modules and the accompanying work packages. There will also be a policy brief, etc. So what are the topics? And now we are getting a bit more steam. We've got acid-base, nature of science, and redox reactions in chemistry. And if you look here, we've got a colleague in the Department of Physics who is concerned about energy, but from a metaphorical approach. We've also got a colleague in technology who's interested in energy, and those two will be collaborating. Yeah, just to give you an impression how collaboration in this project might actually work. And you can also see that there's a variety of different subjects and topics, like the 4 subjects, and 3 topics of learners' conceptions, which shall be addressed in this project. And our sociologist is also there to help us understand different classroom realities in different subjects, in different countries, and different topics. Okay, so.
I'm sorry, I had this, I'm watching the time, so we have to come to the end of the presentation slowly. We can stretch it a little.
At the end of the presentation, thanks.
That's just perfect.
Good, so maybe I'll talk just 1 more minute and then we come to the questions. This is a screenshot of the e-learning platform hosted at Ludwig Maximilians University München. And this is to show you how video, tasks, and the e-learning platform actually get together. So what you can see is the video here. And as the video is progressing, you can see that different tasks pop up on the right top-hand corner of the screen. The students can individually log their answers to those questions, and the course lecturer can actually see all the answers, put them on screen again, and show all the others what all the others have been answering. You can also comment. And yeah, we've got different types of tasks, but I shall not be bothering you with the different types of tasks. This is just to give you an impression how video and tasks work together and can actually be logged, and how students from different partners can actually take part in courses from another partner. Like the students from Vienna can actually take part in the courses in Innsbruck or in Schwäbisch Gmünd and so on. Yeah, that was my talk. Thanks for your patience.
Thank you very much, Axel. I don't know about the others, but I'm really amazed. I'm also in the teacher education sector, and we are trying, I think the video vignettes are really a powerful technology-based education tool we have to focus on this perception issue. And what you developed is really cool, because really you can sit in Vienna or anywhere in Nuremberg and take part in the courses, and the professor or the assistant, they can see what's happening on the screen.
Yeah.
So questions.
Yeah.
A question, please.
Yeah, please.
Did you want to say something first?
No, I can say that later. Sorry.
I have two questions. The first one, which has to do with the collaboration between the different disciplines. So I'm wondering about the connection points. So is it the same topic, for example, being explained but from different perspectives? Like the energy topic you showed, for example, would it be explained from different perspectives? And also, because you're coming all from very different disciplines, then when you meet, how can you reflect on each other's? So does everyone has his own methodology and methods and focusing on certain things?
Yeah.
But are some connection points, or how do you collaborate in general? Can you explain more about the collaboration process?
Okay, so first about the connections for the students, and then how we collaborate in the project, okay? The connections for the students are, there are three video vignettes in each course module, and students can theoretically decide if they want to watch the first vignette in Innsbruck, in the Innsbruck course, then in the Bolzano course, and then in the Vienna course. They could also say, I'm a student of physics, this is about energy, and maybe I'm interested in the technology vignette, which is about energy too. But they can also take part in three vignettes only in their own course. They can do this as well. And the second thing is the collaboration in the project is, we need a lot of time to share our ideas and to actually work together, because we are addressing many different fields of expertise, and we've got people who know their way around creating video vignettes. We've got people who know their way around learners' conceptions, etc., etc. So we have to share our expertise mutually. And then there's also a different research has progressed in a rather different way in the four subjects. Like in textile education, there is hardly any empirical evidence concerning learners' conceptions. So how can textile education participate from the knowledge which already exists in chemistry and physics education? Can this be transferred one-on-one? How does it have to be adapted? Does this answer your question? Like a bit.
Yes, thank you. And it's a very great project. So best of luck.
Thanks.
So is there
Just
any more?
feel free to.
Yes, I'm sorry. Any more comments or questions? Yes, Clemens is raising the hand. You can speak.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Axel, for the presentation. It was really interesting. I just to your last comment, I had a question. So are you working with a common pedagogical model? So everyone from the different areas, do you have one common core model of how you how learning works and how teaching works, and then you are based on this, you are then kind of sharing the individual knowledge in the different subjects?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this will be a very interesting span of 2 hours during our kickoff meeting on 1st and 2nd of July, where we actually propose different models of teacher competence. And we will then get into discussion with our partners from the different subjects, whether they think this model is feasible for their subject and so on. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, we will rely on more general models like Baumert and Kunter. Mm-hmm. We will also rely on Blömecke et al. For the conceptualization of competence as a continuum. There might be people who say, well, why can't we take Nikolai Meschele's model of teacher's competence? It looks very similar. We will discuss about such things, yes.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I have my presentation tomorrow, and I did the same thing for my tutoring training, that I just tried to align all the models of teaching and learning and present it in one model, and now everyone is using that model as a reference when we are discussing basic stuff. And of course you have a basic model, and then you can add the subject specific models that where things just and everyone can learn from the experiences of the others. And I think all the models they are just using different words, but in a lot of the cases they're talking about the same thing, and you have to find the common denominator, the underlying model that everyone. But that's cool. So sounds very interesting. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Clement. Epec, please.
Hello. That was a great presentation, and I really like your methods, Axel. Thank you for that. At the very beginning, you started talking about PCK. Well, when it comes to the methods and the courses that you design, there is technology over there. So have you thought about the technology aspect, technology knowledge, or TPAC?
This will also be part of our model discussion Clemens has just referred to. Yeah. I mean, what we need as educators is TPAC from our perspective. Yeah. And the students will also brush on different parts of that model. Like, let me just get back to this model of competence as a continuum. Sorry, this one. For instance, TPAC would be situated here in the cognition part of the model. So our technology students would have to rely on this one, and our chemistry students would have to rely on their knowledge of acid base. And then there's the question of in how far is their subject matter knowledge relevant? In how far is their pedagogical content knowledge relevant? And in which respect is their pedagogical knowledge relevant to actually address the tasks in that situation? And this is also part of our model, which we are establishing right now. We've got a model for our tasks with the videos. We are establishing a model of how our tasks should be structured. Yeah, and then we will like putting a switch on and off. We say we need a pedagogical content knowledge task for this situation in the video, and so on.
That's great. Thank you.
So thanks again for this great presentation and giving us some insight.
Thanks for having me.
Shireen will take over now for the session chair and our next presenter.
Thank you, Petra. So our next presenter will be Epec. Please, if you can share your screen.
Thank you, Sharon. Share. I just want you to confirm if you
Start. See it, yes, perfect.
That's great. So today, first of all, this is Epec Aras. I spent my last 5 years in England, where I did my second master's and PhD in educational technologies. I am personally a maths teacher and a maths master's degree from Turkey. And I am interested in maths education and educational technologies. So I started ways to connect them to each other. And STEAM is a really great place to actually connect disciplines to each other. So today I'm gonna present steps of writing a STEAM learning scenario for geometry lessons. Here is the outline. So I will start with STEAM education, from STEM to STEAM. Then I will give a STEAM scenario from a geometry. And after explaining the steps of a STEAM scenario, then I will conclude my presentation. So what is STEM? So STEM is a way of education which connects science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And we consider all these to work as an interdisciplinary whole. So we consider this together. When it comes to the goals of STEM education, we first start with saying no to memorization and rotes. So no-rote learning, what we do is about applicability of information in real life. So we are not memorizing, we are learning to use it in real life. And while doing this, we use problem-solving techniques and methods, and during which we want our students to learn some skills like curiosity, investigation. So we want them to investigate, we want them to wonder and be creative. And then while teaching all these in the classrooms or in online classrooms nowadays, we want our students to cope with daily life problems. But students are different from each other. They think different, and we want them to think different actually. And we want also them to search for new solutions. So rather than following already existed solutions and bringing them to us, to teachers, we want them to look for new solutions and create new things. And through this, we want productivity, responsibility, critical thinking. So we want to improve all these skills of students. So these can be stated as basic goals of STEM education in Turkey. So why STEM? There is a change in the world, and this change increases rapidly. So there is a rapid increase. And this change is in technology, in transportation, in communication, in almost every place of our lives. So there is a change, and the students need to catch up with this change. And every year, there are these 21st century skills that we develop. Some are included, some are excluded, but there are skills that students need to develop. And also, students also go to schools or attend online classes to improve their learning. So why not improving students' skills during the classrooms with the scenarios? That was our thought. The 21st century skills that we try to teach are digital competencies, critical thinking, cooperation, creativity, communication, and learning to learn, not learning from teachers. So school is a place to socialize. So we can teach all these skills in a school or specifically in a lesson whilst doing a project or during science experiments. But as said, students are different from each other. We may not be believers of different learning styles, but we all know that students learn differently in different, and they have different abilities. So with the STEM education, we try to actually reach all the students with different abilities and with different learning styles. And we also add arts to STEM education, so STEM plus A or STEAM education. It's commonly described as this, I just want to read it. The approach of integrating all the principles and benefits of STEM education into or through art. And before passing to the steps of a scenario, just want to summarize scenario-based learning. And I didn't want to give a long definition, but I just chose some keywords from the definition of these authors. So in a realistic context, using active learning and giving students different roles and responsibilities, we would like to improve new knowledge and skills during scenario-based learning. And there are parts of scenarios, so we need to define our goals and skills we want to improve. Then it should be multidisciplinary with at least 2 disciplines. We need to define trend topics and teacher responsibilities in a scenario. We need to choose our methods and give responsibilities to our students. We also need to choose materials and learning outcomes because it is a lesson in a school, whether it's online or face-to-face. But in the school, there are some learning outcomes that we want to get. So whilst teaching these learning outcomes, we would also like to improve the skills. And there is evaluation. So let's have a look at them one by one. First of all, we need to set a goal. So what will be the main objective or the purpose of our scenario? What does it aim for? Then we need to define maturity of our students. So we may have a scenario, but it may not fit in all classes, or it may not fit even within a class to all students. So we need to adapt it. Then we need to define the skills. These skills are the skills that we want to improve in Turkey. It includes digital competencies, creativity. So we want to improve all these skills, but it's hard to embed all of them in a scenario, in one scenario. So we can choose 1 or 2, or as much as possible, and integrate it to our scenario. Then it should be
Sorry to interrupt, Epec, but you have only 1 minute left, so
that's great.
Walk a bit quickly. Thank you.
Thank you. Then it should be multidisciplinary. So we need to use all these disciplines, or at least 2 of them in our scenario. We need to choose trend topics like global warming and climate change, and trend innovations like virtual and augmented reality. There are also responsibilities of teachers like guiding, mentoring, and supporting. And we have so many methods that we can integrate. And I quite like inquiry learning, where students learn by wondering and with curiosity. And students have different responsibilities, like and they are the active learners in the classroom. That's the main thing. We need to choose our materials, common materials, hardware, and all the software, as well as the learning outcomes, which may come from the programs, as well as the skills that I already mentioned. And finally, there's the evaluation tools. They can be offline, like rubrics, or online, like Socrative and Kahoot. I have a sample scenario about 3D shapes. So why we need to learn 3D shapes? We can teach it by design thinking and creativity and integrate these 4 lessons. We can choose our topic from engineering, like engineers make mistakes. Students like finding mistakes of other people, including teachers, which is not always good for us. And teachers' role is to guide. We can teach it by problem-based learning, presenting engineers' mistakes. Students will be active learners, and they can use isometric papers to draw these drawings or use GeoGebra as a technology. The learning outcome we would like in this is students will be able to draw 3D shapes. And we can use math tests at the end, or they can prepare posters that we can follow their drawings. Just to conclude, we talked about STEM and passed from STEM to STEAM, 21st century skills, different learning styles, scenario-based learning, and steps of developing a scenario. Then I quickly talk about the STEM scenario that we developed. And thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. We work hard on this, so 10 minutes is not quite enough to explain all this, but I tried my best. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. We had chance to apply this in the classrooms as well, so it's another presentation, maybe in the next conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Epec, for the interesting presentation and how you gave the main concepts and broke them down and made the connections. So thank you. So if anyone has any questions to Epec, please, maybe you can raise your hand or just open your mic and directly ask her.
Yeah, there are hands.
You're clapping, right?
I've seen Axel
So a lot of appreciation.
and Petra as well, raising hands.
I was just clapping, but maybe I can add some words to the clapping, because I've been to Turkey myself. We flew there, and it's really amazing what you do, how to address this issue in a wide range, because I think that's the idea, to really install it in not just one project, but to spread this kind of lesson planning on the basis of what you just showed us. So that was my clapping. And if you present what you did in schools, I would definitely come, because I would be really interested. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Petra.
So any other questions to Epec or comments? Okay, so if not, maybe we can move to our next presenter, which is Roshio. I hope I pronounced it correctly. So maybe Epec, if you can kindly stop sharing, thank you. And Roshio would start sharing. So we have 10 minutes presentation.
Thank you, Shireen.
Thank you.
I'm trying to share the presentation. Could you confirm that you are?
Yes, we can see it perfectly.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, my name is Rocío Guede. I'm going to talk to you about an experience that we have implemented in the
I think she lost the connection. I think she lost the connection. Maybe she'll be back in a couple of minutes. So until she's back, if anyone has any comments or reflections on the other presentations we just heard.
I saw Rocio in the main room. I tried to.
Oh, she's back. I think she's back now.
Sorry.
Thank you, Petra.
Excuse me. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
I'm going to share the screen again.
Okay.
Okay. I was talking you that I'm going to talk about an experience with training teachers in a real mathematics classroom using flipped learning before and after COVID-19. The objectives or the motivation in first phase of this experience is to reach the both two skills that the students that are going to teach in the future in secondary schools must have. No, they need to develop two skills. By one side, the knowledge about the subject it's supposed, and the digital competence that is very important in these times, you know, that we are living. Teacher training programs must ensure both the skills of the future teacher in knowledge of the subject to be taught and be up to date on innovative educational methodologies and technology. The importance of this later aspect has been demonstrated in this situation that we have lived with COVID-19 and the suspension of the presential classes in Spain at least. I mean, your countries have been the same situation, no? Then the motivation of the experience is, by one side, on a first stage, we have made this experience on course 2018-2019, trying to get close our students to the real classroom by using this methodology of flipped learning. But we thought in this situation, we can help some real schools by making material or developing material that can be used by real teachers. And this would be a sense of proving how our students are teaching. You know? In that sense, these are the objects of this experience. First, we want to prove the development of digital competence in our students, you know, of the master, and we want to increase the motivation of the school students in this pandemic situation. They are very bored. No, we thought that any change, any new methodology introduced in school would improve the motivation and the engagement of the students. And this was the idea. Then we wanted to know if after COVID-19, the appreciation of our students about the need of developing digital competence have increased or not. No, this was our objective. Then the results of two academic courses are compared before and after COVID-19. The Spanish master's degree in secondary school teaching works as follows, or as this image explains. They need a bachelor degree to start the master or an equivalent qualification, and then they need didactic training. And the master is supposed to give them this didactic training. Then at the end of the master, they would have the requirements to teach in compulsory and upper secondary education. The organization of the degree is as follows. The Spanish master's degree in secondary school teaching program in mathematics has 60 ECTS credits in 1 year, and they have 18 ECTS credits, about 2 months of practicum or internship placement. And we did in this subject, didactics of mathematics, that has 9 ECTS credits, is the applied subject with a big weight in these programs. But the students always talk to us, to the teachers, that this time of practicum, of internship placement, is very short. They would like to have more contact, real contact with the schools and with the students, and more training. Then this was a motivation to start with this kind of experience. You know, we always want to show to our students the real teaching, the real situation, you know, of schools. Then the experience itinerary is as follows. We start with an explanation about flipped learning, the methodology that they are going to work with, and with a program of edition of videos editor. And they will work in groups. They will have a first feedback about from the teacher school and from the teacher of the subject. And then we implement the flipped learning, flip it, and they will have a second feedback at the end that includes the feedback of the students of the school that they appreciate very, very much. No? In the next slide, you can see the worker, not the working better. First, in the first master session, it includes the flipped learning explanation and the puzzle, in this case, explanation. Then they will work in groups, and this is homework. You know. Then in the second master session, they have the first feedback. Then we implement the experience at the school in 8 classes, because they are 8 groups. And then they will have the second feedback in the third master session. In the next slide is more detailed, the chronogram. And we have some examples of videos. This is from the period, the course 2020-2021. No? This current course that is finished, is finishing now in Spain. And this is an example about linear systems, and then you can see the points where the questions that they include in the videos are, you know, and the time that when these questions appear. You know, this is a very good way of following the real connection and engagement of the students of the school. Another example, for example, linear.
Sorry to interrupt, but we have only 1 minute. Possible?
Okay, thank you. These are examples, okay, and then we have the feedback of the school students. For example, the video has been very dynamic, and I understood it very well. Maybe the students say they have been very fast. For example, some ideas that could help our students to improve the teaching. No? Then we carry out a survey with 16 questions asking about the methodology, about the learning and evaluation in this methodology, and about the activity. And these are the results comparing the two courses. And we can see that all the items have improved with after the COVID-19. Then we think our students are more conscious of the need of develop the digital competence and to apply the new methodologies in their classes. These are the results, and the conclusions are very positive in both courses, but it highlights the score obtained in the last course, in this current course. These students of this year are more conscious that this type of experience is necessary to be able to apply the theoretical knowledge that they have acquired in the real classroom. And they are very glad and happy with this experience. And okay, thank you. And if you have any suggestion or any question, I will try to answer it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rocio, very much for the interesting presentation. And if anyone has any comments or suggestions or questions, we would be happy to hear.
I am trying to stop the sharing. Sorry.
It's okay, so you're the last presenter, so if anyone has any questions before we head up for the main room, we have 3 minutes still, so.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Epec. So a lot of people are clapping for you also. Okay, so if anyone also has any comments or reflections on any of the presentations we've had, Petra, what do you think?
Axel is raising the hand, I saw it.
Okay, so you have a question, please go ahead, Axel.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the inspiring talk, Rocio. I don't exactly know how to put my question, but in my experience, we have also tried to prepare students for some practical experience, and we have let me say it like this: we have stuffed them with knowledge about pedagogical content knowledge and so on. And when they entered the classroom, suddenly a whole lot of different things were important. And our pedagogical content knowledge treatment was not really important. What are your experiences in this regard? What's important for the students when they then finally hit the classroom?
Rocio, did you get the question? I think she's here. Rocio, I think the question was directed to your presentation, your talk.
Okay. Never mind. Maybe we've got some general comments before we.
Yes, maybe anyone would like to add to Axel's question?
Maybe I can say something because this is a current topic that also keeps us busy in the teacher education. What to feed the students that they can use in practice, and then we have really this research that kind of a really sad evaluation that a lot of the content knowledge we teach in the teacher education field, then when they go to practice or when they become teachers, they cannot really connect or make it useful, and they more or less go back to those things they experienced. So the experience-based knowledge has a much deeper impact on what happens later, and this is this huge project for teacher education to and I think your presentation, Axel, and also Rossio's presentation are steps towards this direction, and in how to present the theory and content knowledge in a way that the connection to practice is more obvious, or that the connection is there and we can talk about it.
Yeah, if I can add something. Yeah, thanks. That's also my experience, and I do not want to say that we should stop teaching them like content knowledge and pedagogical content knowledge, but I would rather say that we, even if they don't have any professional knowledge, maybe it's an idea to let them actually hit the classroom, because this is a matter of extreme urgency for them to actually experience in the classroom, how do I bring my message to the children? Do they take me seriously? Like, do I have any standing in the classroom? Do they respect me? What way do I talk? And so on. This is all rather more person-centered than knowledge-centered. Yeah. And that's maybe an explanation why our efforts to teach them subject matter knowledge and pedagogical content knowledge, etc., are rather more strenuous than actually hitting the classroom and see how do the pupils react to my persona, to my character, to the way I talk, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
I can absolutely agree. It's really an urgent thing for teacher students to have that experience in maybe already an early stage, even if they only take over small parts of the teaching, not the whole lesson.
That's true. So I think we're out of time, or we are just in time. So we can continue discussion in the main room if you have any comments and if you have anything to raise during our discussions with Jot and Eva. And we thank you all for the beautiful presentations, and thank you, Petra, for moderating the first part. And so we can all just press on the button, leave room, and we meet over there. Thank you all.
Thanks to you as well, Shireen.
Okay, see you there.